Hey everybody, this is Tim Hinton from the Marching Roundtable and marchingartseducation.com.
And this is John from ToneDeafComics.com.
And we're going to be talking about our favorite all-time music cues in movies. So like movie soundtracks, moments in movies where the music cue, the music that's in the scene is memorable.
Yeah, and it like blends perfectly with the intent of the scene, or it helps enhance the scene. As how I was looking at it.
Well, I had a really hard time with this. So that's actually helpful if that's the way you were thinking about it, because I started thinking back. There are so many moments in movies
Yeah,
where the music makes it. And
yeah,
I'm like, how am I going to pick three? Now, I will tell you this. I have one immediately came to mind because I have one all-time favorite movie scene
me
that I
too.
think is the greatest thing ever on film.
Right, and mine is too, and it's like totally unexpected. Like
Oh,
it should not work, in my opinion,
okay, well, I'm interested to see when we
but it
get to
totally
that.
does.
Well,
Yeah.
I wrote down my first one because I can always say this is my favorite moment in any movie ever, and the music is a huge part of why it's so brilliant. So I had that down immediately. But then when
Okay.
I started trying to make two, three, four, I was like, okay, well, how do I go through the entire history of all the movies I've ever seen and decide? But if by what you said, it's a special moment where the music makes it, then that
Yeah.
helps me make my list.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'm going to let you go first because I'm still deciding what I have.
If I'm gonna be honest, like my three and four keep flip flopping in my head right now. Like
Well,
it's that close.
I had a
I'm
really
gonna
good,
do honorable mentions at the end.
or we can just talk about three and four together.
Okay.
All right.
All
So
right.
what are your three and four? Or do you want me to go first?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, you go.
All right. So my number four is Field of Dreams at the end. Like that last, it's the second to last track on the soundtrack, but it's like 8 minutes or so. But as soon as he says like you want to have a catch, like holy mackerel, like it's done. It's like one of the classic moments in film. Like I watched it a year ago, and it was the first time I watched it since my dad passed away, and I was like just like crying, and my wife was like, "Are you okay?" But it's so good. It like the way the music just keeps building and building into it, and then once it hits that part, it's great. It's absolutely wonderful.
James Horner, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
so
This
good.
it is that's a great example of a moment where it's a special moment in a movie and the music makes it like really, really special.
Yeah, we should also state right now there might be spoilers, but some of these tough luck. These are old movies, so
Yeah, I'm not talking about anything that came out last week, so I think we're
yeah, me
okay.
neither.
Okay, so what's your other one?
So my number three is at the end of Castaway when Helen Hunt's character, Helen Hunt, is that her the right
I think
name? The
so.
right
I think
actress?
so.
Shit, like Tom Hanks is pulling away, and she's in the rain, and she just goes chasing after him. Car pulls back. It's raining. The music matches up. The scene's beautiful. I love it. Like I can go back and rewatch the last 45 minutes of Castaway only over and over and over again. And it's so heart-wrenching because they know the decision they have to make, and the music, like they have that one moment right there for themselves, and the music is just syncs up perfectly with it.
Who wrote the soundtrack?
That was Alan Silvestri, and that's another composer. Like my favorite
When
theme
we did
is
our
Back to the
composer
Future.
discussion, yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
mention him, but we certainly should have.
yeah,
Yeah.
one of the best.
So
Yeah,
that's your three and four.
yeah,
I've really had a hard time
that's
ordering these
okay.
up. I mean, all right, so
You can do no particular order.
I'm gonna say my three and four. I mentioned this
Okay.
in the other discussion. I'm gonna say from Avatar, track five, becoming one of the people, where he goes to learn to be a Navi. I know we already had this conversation. Anybody that saw the other conversation, if you haven't
Yeah.
seen it, watch our conversation about film composers. But that I think the music is so perfect. There's a certain heat James Horner created. He got all these sort of native instruments and sort of it's like there's a sound to it
Yeah.
that is uniquely, and it sounds foreign and sort of like another otherworldly, but it's all like native instruments from indigenous cultures and stuff. It's very interesting how he
He's
studies.
good at that. He's good
Yeah,
at picking like specific instruments for specific movies like Braveheart and
yeah,
stuff
and
like that.
he went out and sought out people that did this work in these different kinds of musical idioms from these other places in the world and brought those instruments, and they helped him create the sounds and the feels. But it's just, I love how it's exotic, but it sounds native and real and earthy, and
Yeah.
it's so brilliant to me. The other one, I'm gonna, believe it or not, I'm gonna say the famous opening titles of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think it's so famous, and I
Because
think
you're
there's
waiting for it.
well, I know, and we all love it so much. And when the title comes from behind your head and appears on the screen, and then there's that trumpet fanfare, and it's just thrilling. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just a little kid again every time they get. So I just think that's a special moment. So I'm going to say that's my 3-4 mix.
Yeah. It's so, I mean, it's so simple a concept because you are sitting there like it's about ready to come.
No,
And
you're
then
waiting.
like nothing's different about it. Bam, it's there and it's so satisfactory. It's just
I
good.
know, and I'm one of those people that's geeky enough that when the new Star Wars films come out, I'm like there on opening night, with all the super geeks, and then they do the long time ago comes on the screen, and everybody's like, waiting, and then boom, and they come, everybody applauds, like I'm in that crowd. I'm one of those people.
Nice.
And when the next Avatar comes out, I will be in the same crowd. I'll be super nerd out on
When is that coming out?
Oh, I don't know. They keep delaying them because anyway, that's a long story. That's hopefully before I'm in my lifetime, I hope. All right. So what's your number 2?
So my number 2 is I've never been a Star Trek fan at all. Like I've just never tried to get into them. But these newer movies, the newer movies, first and second one, I should say, I really like. And there's a moment like the first 10 minutes of this first Star Trek movie, I think it was 2009 that came out, is probably the best 10 minutes of opening of a movie ever. And it's Labor of Love, the track Labor of Love, when she's giving birth and they're about ready to crash the ship into the other thing or whatever. And it's like action packed, like visually, but the music slows down and is more of his more slower overarching thing. Like the counterpoint between the music and what's going on, because there's like two different things going on visually and in the movie too. It's just like masterfully crafted and just like really brings forward the emotion of the moment on both parts of what's happening. They're just like talking to his wife. He knows he's about to die. She knows he's about to die. They're naming the baby. He crashes. She, even though she knew it was going to happen, like you feel it all happening because of the music, I believe. It's so good. It's good.
Right. Michael Giacchino, right?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. And I am a Star Trek Trekkie, but I think that you're right about that. I think that music makes that really work.
Yeah. And like, again, like that first 10 minutes is great. Second movie, the first 10 minutes is terrible. Like I was like, man, I was really looking forward to that first 10 minutes after the first one.
It's hard to hit a home run every time.
Yeah.
Okay, so since you said a moment where the music is perfectly matched to the visual and it makes it happen, I have to say E.T. Whenever he flies, da da da, and you see like that is to me personifies that, because that music is so perfect for that moment. It builds, and then he jumps off the cliff, and the music makes him soar. It's just perfectly crafted.
Yeah, like it's so good.
It's perfectly crafted, and it would not be the same without that. Just the brilliance of, like I said, the music is building, and you know it's about to happen, and he's coming to the cliff, and then that big soaring melody, and it happens at least twice in the movie, maybe 3 times, and it's perfect every time.
Yeah.
So I have to give John Williams, and it's sort of easy to discount E.T. It was such a big deal, and I don't know, it's easy to sort of dismiss it, but I don't think we should. I think it's just really good.
That's the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater. Or let me say this. Let me backtrack. That's the first movie I ever remember seeing in a movie theater. Like the first one that I saw. Because I can remember the movie theater, and I can't remember if I saw anything else before that.
Okay.
But I would have had to, because it was 1983, and I would have been 6 by that point. So I don't know. That's the first one I remember.
Okay, and
So
yes, John, you're significantly younger than me, so we will not hearing those notes. But no, that's cool. Okay, so I'm interested to see what your number one is.
so my number one is E.T. The same exact track, but at a different point. So when you said that, I was like, dang on it, he stole it.
Oh,
But
I didn't
no,
mean to
he
steal
did.
your thunder.
My absolute favorite part, like every single time, like the music's building up, it's building up. The mom's like, where's the kids? And then hits the kids on the bike, bam, 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 and they're pedaling their asses off. And it's like, this should not work right now. And it totally is. It's such a fantastic track. It's a fantastic
Yeah,
visual of these
yeah.
kids hauling butt to save this alien. And the music should not work with it, but it totally does. That
I
bike.
can't believe I did not mean to steal your thunder for ET, but
No, it didn't. Because you like a different part of that track
yeah.
than what I did. And it's like, even within that track, it works on so many levels.
Right. So everybody that's watching, if you haven't watched ET in a while, you should just watch it for the music and notice how brilliantly crafted it is. And you know what, John? My favorite thing, I shouldn't say favorite, but something I think is very, very special on that soundtrack. Are you ready for this?
What?
The music that plays when the closing credits begin.
Oh,
do you even remember it?
I cannot, because that's a long track. It's like a 15-minute track.
But I'm talking about like right when they play the big ta-da, da-da, and he's flying off of the spaceship when they play the big ending, and then it's the end, and it goes dark, and then up comes the first title, and this music starts. And it's just so perfect. I can't even stand it. And what it is, it's a piano version of the da 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 da, but it's played on the piano, so it's like this very simple one person playing the melody, and it's so perfect because he knew that there was this one of the biggest orchestra endings of all time of a movie, this giant heroic theme. The movie goes off. You couldn't just crank up the orchestra. He knew something completely different and simple and quiet, and it's just a simple piano version.
Yeah.
It's just so perfect.
Yeah. I remember watching this with my kids 2 years ago. And like, I think Daniel's seen it before. Jackson, who's now 9, so he would have been 7. I don't think he really saw or remembers anything of it, but it was Luke's first time, and he was 3 at the time. And it got to the end, and he was crying as a 3-year-old. And I'm like, what's wrong? And like, Shelly and I were like, what's wrong? He's like, are you sad? He's like, yeah. He's like, and I was like, are you happy? He's like, yeah. So he didn't know how to, like, he was happy and sad at the same time. And in his head, he's like, I don't know what to make of this, because he saw that E.T. got home, but like everybody was going to miss him and everything.
He was leaving Elliot.
Yeah. Like, it's such a mixed emotion there. Like, it's bittersweet is what I'm trying to get at. And the music definitely helps with that.
Oh, it's perfect.
He did not know what to make of it at
that's
all.
Awesome. But see, that's the beauty. That's why we love movies. That's why we love music. Because it's possible to have all these emotions, complicated emotions, and somehow he figured out how to express it in the music.
Right.
It's really special. Okay, so you ready for my number one?
What's your number one? Because what's beating this is what I'm thinking right now.
I got to tell you, like I said, this is no brainer for me. My favorite sequence of any movie ever, with the best, most perfect music ever.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
The asteroid field from The Empire Strikes Back.
Yes. Yeah.
It is the greatest filmed movie sequence ever, in my opinion, because they're like, you're not going to fly into an asteroid field. He's like, yes, we are. And then they go, and then this music starts, and it's just, and then da 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 da, and they're flying and they're avoiding the ships, and it's just the most amazing thing ever. I just love it.
Yeah, that is like,
it's so perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I think that sequence of music is the greatest thing anybody's ever written for film, because it's so perfect. Like, there's this like thing going on to create tension, and then they're swooping around these giant asteroids, and the music is this giant sweeping theme. It's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
I love it.
That track is one of the best Star Wars tracks.
I think it's the best. I think it's the great. I mean, like
Yeah.
it's far and away. When you said favorite music cues, I said, okay, number one for me is Asteroid Field because that is far and away, without a doubt, my favorite thing I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember 1980, the movie comes out, and seeing this and experiencing this on the big screen. By the way, it's not the same watching it on your TV. Like you,
What about
every
on a little phone? Is that the same?
that's like really super sad. That's it is so it was just the most thrilling thing I've ever experienced. I mean, I'll never forget that. I arranged it for my band to play way back before we had to worry about that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, of course, capture the brilliance of it at all, but I just had loved it so much I had to try. And by the way, that was one of the things in the Solo movie that just came out this past May
Oh
that
yeah,
I
it's in
really
there, right?
liked. He referenced that.
Yeah.
And I was so excited because I'm sitting in the theater, and it's the part where they're they have this run, the Kessel Run. They're doing the Kessel Run.
Yeah.
And he pulled clips from all these great iconic moments from dramatic moments in the Star Wars films, and he pulls a little bit of that in there. And I, of course, am just having a
Yeah.
fit in the theater, creating a scene in the back row because I'm like, oh my god, it's the Astro Film! Oh my god, I can't believe this.
Can we do a quick
That's how I
side
am in
note?
Star Wars movies. What?
Quick side note: another film composer we left off on our last recording, John Powell, he did the soundtrack for Solo, but all-time favorite, How to Train Your Dragon. Such a good soundtrack.
So great.
Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon is so great. I listen to that endlessly.
That track, the flight, or I can't remember the track name, but there's so many good tracks on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do like hundreds of these conversations about film. But I have to the Asteroid Field to me is far and away the most exciting thing I've ever seen on film, and the music is perfect. And if you're watching and you are like, I don't know, I'm telling you, go get out your DVD or your Blu-ray of Empire Strikes Back, watch that scene, and you will be like, this is the most brilliant thing. And the thing is, the trumpets are playing this da 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 da, and the violins are like there's just all this sweeping music. It's just so brilliant. I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew I was going to get all excited about this, John. This is why I was waiting. I'm going to wait. I said I'm going to wait and take a shower after this recording because I know I'm going to get all worked.
Well, but here's I don't know if we mentioned it, but like these music cues in movies are like there's some truly great ones, and it's like this is the list I was most excited to do because like the emotion hits you in these moments.
Well, I know, but other than this one, like I could have had so many others. I mean, there are so many movies that have great moments that are the music makes it happen, and so people are probably sitting at home rolling their eyes because they're thinking, oh, they didn't mention this and they didn't mention that, and the Gone with the Wind here and Casablanca there. Like there's thousands and thousands of great music cues.
And I know we mentioned like a whole bunch of big ones, but there's like small ones too, like Michael Giacchino again, like in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes near the beginning when the apes are riding the horses, the melody is like you can sense like this is not the ideal lifestyle for them, but they're making it work just by the music. And it's so good.
Well, and I would say when my Thomas Newman and Wall-E, and to me first 10 minutes of that movie, the soundtrack creates this sort of super unsettled. I mean, it's just brilliant.
Yeah, it's
so great. So there's tons and tons of these, but we don't want to talk for 5 hours, and we've probably talked too long already. But this is exciting to me. And, a lot of people, I've heard people say before that, like, film is sort of like all the art forms come together. I do think that's true. It's like it's visual, it's music, it's action.
Yeah.
It's like all the art forms combine. And that's one of the things that we love about films.
Yeah.
But the music has made so many moments in movies.
Right. Well, Tim, I like this list. It's good.
I feel bad that I threw E.T. out before your number one.
No, because I thought it was interesting because it was two different parts of that track.
It's true, but it shows how perfect and I mean that was really like the music. I mean, Steven Spielberg said John Williams is E.T. He is the voice, the heart of E.T. No doubt about it. So
yeah.
All right. Well, enough about all this. Everybody, Go to marchingroundtable.com, marchingartseducation.com. Check out what we're trying to do. John, Tone Deaf Comics, you're doing great stuff.
Yeah, thanks. And don't forget to leave your comment below about your favorite parts of movies with music involved.
Absolutely. It's awesome. Thanks, John.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Go to tonedeafcomics.com to see the great work John is doing, including the latest comics and great merchandise like posters for your classroom. You can also sign up to get comics emailed to you as they are released. tonedeafcomics.com. Go to marchingartseducation.com, where you can get access to the top marching arts professionals through live webinars, videos, and coursework. Imagine where you can take your group with just a few new valuable ideas. You can interact with the experts and ask questions during live webinars. marchingartseducation.com. And go to marchingroundtable.com to see over 750 podcasts. Make yourself more valuable by listening in the car, at the gym, or at your convenience. There's great entertaining conversations on most every topic you might need help with. Get some fresh ideas to help take your group to the next level at marchingroundtable.com.